They say that if a nuclear catastrophe happens on Earth, only cockroaches will survive. Fortunately, humanity hasn't had to test this theory yet. However, another amazing fact about the resilience of cockroaches was proven a long time ago. Cockroaches really can live without their heads for weeks. This creepy trait drives people with insect phobias crazy, but scientists are absolutely fascinated by it. After all, cockroaches don't have blood pressure like humans do. These creatures have an open circulatory system, where the pressure is much lower. After a cockroach loses its head, the blood at the cut simply clots, so blood loss from a severed head isn't dangerous for them. That's the first thing. Secondly, they breathe through spiracles, which are small openings in different parts of their body. They direct air directly to their tissues through tracheae, and this process isn't controlled by the brain. Also, these insects don't need to carry oxygen in their blood, which is convenient. But still, how would a cockroach survive without a mouth? Wouldn't it want to eat? It's simple. Cockroaches are poikilotherms, meaning they are cold-blooded creatures. They need much less food than, for example, humans. So if the insect doesn't get sick or isn't eaten by a predator, it can easily live for several weeks. And finally, what is generally considered the main thing in the head, the brain. Without it, the cockroach's body can still function, performing simple tasks and reflexes. It's all about the ganglia, clusters of nerve tissue distributed within each body segment and capable of performing basic nervous functions. All these features of the insect allow it to live even after its head is cut off. It might seem that after all this, cockroaches definitely deserve to be listed in the Book of Monsters. But in reality, that's not entirely fair to them. The reputation of a nasty creature, a disgusting being that feeds on garbage, isn't afraid of radiation, and can survive in any conditions, is nothing more than a myth. Less than 1% of the 4,800 known species of cockroaches can cause problems for humans. But when people see a roach, few are willing to change their attitude toward the other 99%. There are almost as many species of cockroaches on Earth as there are species of mammals. You have to admit, it's not really fair to write off all cockroaches just because of a dislike for 30 of their species. Cockroaches live on every continent except Antarctica, and in most climate zones, from tropical forests to deserts. In the tropics and at low altitudes, where the temperature is constantly high, the diversity of cockroach species is especially great. Nevertheless, some of them are able to live in more extreme conditions. For example, one species lives only on Mount Everest, at an altitude of more than 5,000 meters above sea level. The smallest known species, the Texas ant-loving cockroach from North America, has chosen the nests of leafcutter ants as its home. Its length is only a few millimeters, and it looks tiny even compared to its hosts. In contrast, the giant cockroach Megaloblatta can boast an incredible wingspan, over 18 centimeters. An even larger species is the giant rhinoceros cockroach, which lives in Australia. The body length of this wingless cockroach reaches 8 centimeters, and it weighs more than 30 grams. It may seem dangerous, but it doesn't care about people. It only feeds on bark and fallen leaves. There are also these beauties, the checkered cockroaches. There are two-tailed cockroaches, which have two protrusions at the rear end of their bodies. These are Circe. There's this pirate with a skull-shaped pattern, the Death's Head cockroach. It's also called Blaberus, or the Cuban cockroach. There's also the forest cockroach, which feeds on leaves. And this one is called the little car. It's not hard to guess that insects of this species got their name because of the headlights on their pronotum. And this is an Asian cockroach. It is considered to be the ancestor of the familiar roach, nicknamed Prusak, also known as the red cockroach, or the domestic cockroach. In general, two types of cockroaches have settled in Russian homes, the red ones and the black ones. American and furniture cockroaches are also found, but not as often as the first two. Red cockroaches have been our neighbors since the middle of the 18th century. They came with the Russian army's supply trains during the 7 Years' War, earning the nickname Prussians. Interestingly, in Prussia they are actually called Russians, and in France, Swabians. Red cockroaches, as it turns out, are very social insects, and live in rather large colonies. If you see one in your house, it means there are about 700 more hiding somewhere nearby. Black cockroaches are our longtime neighbors. They've been living with us for a very long time. They feel great in rural homes and basements, but cold winters are a tough challenge for them, and the climate of central Russia is deadly for them. Their love for rural living and competition with the less demanding Prussians have seriously affected their population numbers. There's also urbanization and concrete construction. You could practically put them on the endangered species list. Yes, such suggestions have already been made. Interestingly, termites are also cockroaches. But until 2018, this wasn't considered the case. Before that, termites were classified as belonging to the order termites. And in 2018, the American entomological community reclassified the order of termites as a suborder. They placed them under the cockroach order instead of creating a new family. Many species of cockroaches perform similar ecological roles. They consume decaying organic matter, producing nutrients for other organisms. For many species of living creatures, including some people, cockroaches are a tasty snack. Their protein content is 3 times higher than that of chicken. If you want to try a delicacy, welcome to Southeast Asia or South America for new taste experiences. That's why it's no surprise that different species of cockroaches have learned to skillfully camouflage themselves in their own ways, so they don't become someone's lunch or dinner. Banana cockroaches have chosen a rather simple green camouflage that helps them blend in with their surroundings. Cockroaches from the genus Parasites protect themselves by curling up into a ball, just like armadillos. Members of the genus Prosoplecta mimic ladybugs and, accordingly, have the same striking red and black coloration. To achieve the round shape of a ladybug, this cockroach wraps its hind wings around itself like an umbrella. Some species, such as beetle cockroaches, can release a jet of liquid for protection. But if you disturb the Madagascar hissing cockroach, it will make a frightening sound, warning you that it's not worth messing with it. It's no wonder that with such extensive survival experience, cockroaches have learned to reproduce in various ways. When it comes to reproductive diversity, this group is almost unmatched among other insects. Some species are characterized by a method of reproduction called parthenogenesis. Females give birth to individuals that are completely identical to themselves, and for this, they don't need a male or mating. In other species, the female can use either sexual or asexual reproduction, depending on the circumstances. Nevertheless, in most species, the female lays an egg capsule. Some simply leave it, while others carry this capsule in a brood pouch, from which larvae later emerge. Beetle cockroaches do not have egg capsules. The female lays eggs directly into the brood pouch, where they receive a special nutrient similar to milk. This is the most nutritious and highest calorie protein known. Thanks to this, well-developed offspring are born. This protein interested scientists so much that they tried to reproduce these crystals, which are 4 times more nutritious than cow's milk. Well, a farm with milking machines for cockroaches hasn't been invented yet. So now researchers are developing a way to sequence the genes to produce cockroach milk in the lab. Scientific research often amazes us with its strangeness. You'd think, who would ever come up with the idea to clamp a cockroach in a vise and study how strong its bite is? However, scientists from Cambridge University did come up with such an idea, and they found out that the bite force is 50 times greater than the weight of a cockroach's body. It turns out that when cockroaches encounter tough materials, it's like they switch to a lower gear and use special muscle fibers in their jaws that aren't used when they're eating. Besides humans, cockroaches have other enemies as well. For example, the sting of the emerald parasitic wasp turns a healthy and active cockroach into a mindless zombie. Female wasps lay their eggs directly into the cockroaches' bodies, and the larvae feed on this living source. The wasps themselves are much smaller than their victim and use a thin, long stinger to inject a poisonous cocktail directly into the cockroach's brain at first. One sting, one zombie. The cockroach doesn't become completely paralyzed, but it loses the ability to hide and run away. That's when the wasp grabs it more securely by the antennae and lays an egg in the insect's abdominal cavity. The cockroach remains sluggish even when the hatched larva starts eating it from the inside. The whole process takes 8 days, after which almost nothing is left of the victim but an empty shell. There are other predators that go after cockroach heads as well. For example, the body of a Madagascar cockroach is covered by a thick chitinous armor, but that won't help it against a swarm of small, aggressive fire ants. In this footage, a pregnant female in her death throes expelled a huge ootheca packed with eggs, and the ants quickly broke open the capsule and unceremoniously dragged its contents back to their storerooms. Despite such enemies, the resilience of cockroaches in their struggle against humans has become legendary. Here's an interesting fact. In the 80s, there appeared products based on glucose, which is tasty for cockroaches, mixed with poisons. When cockroaches realized that it was killing them, they stopped eating the deadly treat. Cockroaches developed an aversion to sweets as a result of a rather rapid mutation, which in turn became a defensive reaction to the baits. The insects somehow mysteriously figured out that these things were harmful to them, and they associated the harm with the taste. What is the reason for such cleverness? Well, to be honest, no one really knows. Scientists suggest that these creatures, which have existed on Earth for hundreds of millions of years, have managed to accumulate information about many substances harmful to their health during that time. And the accumulated evolutionary experience helps cockroaches recognize food and distinguish safe substances from poisonous ones. To adapt to poison, cockroaches only need to activate old genes. In addition, the bodies of these insects produce a large amount of antidote proteins that serve as antidotes for various poisons. The evolution of cockroaches is rapid. They mutate very quickly, thus getting used to any new poison. A couple of weeks, and the antidote is ready. The mutations mainly affect the cockroach's nervous system, making them increasingly impervious to the molecules of poisonous substances. Poisons that seemed quite effective just yesterday stop getting into their bodies. They become useless. They can even serve as food for them. The surviving cockroaches pass on beneficial changes to the next generations. As a result, the population builds up resistance, sometimes to several insecticides at once. Super cockroaches even appear, for whom none of the existing chemicals are deadly at all. Those can only be handled with a slipper. But in recent years, quite a few people have been asking, if that's the case, and cockroaches are practically genetic superheroes with an antidote in their DNA, then where are they disappearing to? It's not only black cockroaches decreasing, German cockroach numbers are dropping too. Perhaps the reason lies in the overall improvement of sanitary conditions and the emergence of new generations of insecticides. Or maybe it's due to the use of modern paints, glues, and building materials. Or perhaps they can't tolerate the high-frequency radio signals from cellular networks and Wi-Fi. Or maybe our foods, oversaturated with additives and preservatives, just don't appeal to them. What do you think? Tell us in the comments. And see you in future episodes on our channel.